Ourselves before we get into our driver rankings, who finished where. So Max Verstappen won. We got George Russell, Carlos Sainz, Andrea, Kimi Antonelli, Liam Lawson. That's your top five. Your podiums, obviously, fantastic from George Russell and Carlos Sainz. Then we've got Yuki Tsunoda in 6th, Lando Norris, oh dear, in 7th, Lewis Hamilton 8th, Charles Leclerc 9th, Isaac Hadjar in 10th. And rounding out the top 20, we've got Gabriel Bortoleto in 11th, and Oliver Behrman, Alexander Albon, Esteban Ocon, Fernando Alonso with that 10-second penalty thanks to being distracted by Oscar Piastri, Nico Hülkenberg 16th, Lance Stroll 17th, 18th is Pierre Gasly, 19th Franco Colapinto, and whoops-a-daisy for a certain Oscar Piastri. Let's get into our ratings. So, the Azerbaijan ratings. Who was a hero and who was a zero? Well, the biggest zero of the race, I don't think you're going to be surprised, was a certain Australian Iceman by the name of Oscar Piastri, who not only did a bad start, a jump start, braked, and then pretty much went to the back. Okay, fair enough. Maybe he felt he needed to, but then became desperate enough to yeet it into the wall in a bit of a panic on that first lap, and he put his hand up to it himself. We all make mistakes. Michael Schumacher used to say, I allow myself one big mistake a year. Oscar Piastri has had two, but let's be fair, he's leading the championship for a reason, because he has had such a fantastic year. In a fantastic car, I might add, but still. So next up, we've got another man who got himself a 10-second penalty, I think, against Colapinto on, let's be fair, a move that really wasn't on. Yeah, you got your nose in there, but that was kind of it. What was going on with that Alexander Albon? Sadly, I've not been able to find any footage. Next up, we've got Lance Stroll, simply because he is Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll, he finished, 17th? Yeah, I know, qualifying was difficult for him. In spite of not having a 10-second penalty, Fernando Alonso still beat him. Yeah, that's not really great, is it? Next up, we got Colapinto. So, Colapinto, okay, he finished 19th, screwed over, if I'm really honest, by a certain Alexander Albon, but still, yeah, he made it into the wall in qualifying, and that really set him up for what was a very average race. And speaking of average, again, Alpine, it's probably, if I'm honest, it's probably because of the car, but he finished 18th, not good enough. I'm sure if you looked at shots of Flavio Briatore, I probably wouldn't want to be having dinner with him if I was either of those Alpine drivers, more so because of their qualifying. Hülkenberg next. And yeah, Gabriel Bortoleto finished 11th. Hülkenberg finished 16th. I guess that's all you really need to know about that. Nico Hülkenberg hitting reverse. He, it kind of, I know I've mentioned it before, but ever since that first podium in Silverstone, he's kind of hit the backwards gear and is like, okay, let's go backwards. Now I've achieved my life dream of a podium, and we're done. So Esteban Ocon behind Ollie Behrman again, just lacking that. Yeah, Esteban Ocon 14th, Ollie Behrman 12th. Didn't do. Yes, he hit the wall in qualifying, didn't he, and got a very crabby car, pun intended. Having said that, he still beat his teammate, which I think is the least. And the last of the losers, I'd like to say, obviously, this man here. Okay, I need a drink because I'm struggling. Lando Norris. You get a chance in qualifying to get a good result. You don't. Okay, the conditions are difficult. You say you tried your best, etc. You made a mistake. Fair enough. So then you start. Average start. Don't want to take too many risks. Your teammate has crashed, you're thinking, oh, this is going to be really good, and then you fluff up the restart and let Leclerc past you, which completely ruins your race. So that's why he's there. Yeah, should have been better. Now the winners. Gabriele Bortoleto, simply because he beat his teammate 11th till 16th. He is having, really cracking. Alonso again, in spite of that 10-second whoops-a-daisy, which we can kind of understand, he still beat his teammate. Yes, he finished 15th, but I see that overly as a positive. Isaac Hadjar. Okay, Isaac, you may have been beaten by your more experienced teammate at this rate, but you finished 10th. So, what was a difficult weekend? Wasn't wholly bad. Lewis Hamilton, okay, got screwed over, really, by Ferrari, maybe a tiny bit himself, but mainly by his Ferrari team in qualifying. And he had a really, really good start. The pace, very on pace, really, really close with Charles Leclerc. And not too bad. Yes, he finished ahead of Leclerc, but is that because Leclerc gave him, basically, let him go, play the team game? And Leclerc was just, he needs to be slightly more solid in the race, if I'm honest. But it was ever so close, wasn't it? And once again, Yuki Tsunoda. Okay, you didn't beat Liam Lawson, fair enough, but you still finished 6th, which is a really good result for Yuki Tsunoda in the Red Bull in 2025. Can't argue that one at all. Next up, okay, now this is going to be slightly controversial, but this top 5, I'd like to see as like a top 5 podium, really, because they all did fantastic. Now, surprise, surprise, I have put Max Verstappen as 5th in this top 5. You can make a case for any of these people being men of the race. The only reason why is he did the job perfectly. He was never pressured. He got a good start. He got a good restart. And what helped really was Carlos Sainz not quite being fast enough, and he was able to manage the race without any pressure. What I'm really saying is he did a really good job, but it was the easiest race of the year that he won. Easy. Next up, George Russell. He was really ill on Friday, couldn't make the media day, didn't do many interviews. Once again, he came down with some respiratory disease. They didn't say it was COVID, but still, I think he did a fantastic job, which is why he finished 4th. He finished 2nd overall. I think there's some people that, considering a bit of stuff, maybe did just a smidgy better than him. But as I said, you can class any of these top 5 as your number 1, and I probably wouldn't argue about it. But next up, Kimi Antonelli. Now, coming into this race, he was under pressure. Not only did he qualify on that second row, out qualifying George Russell. Yes, George was a bit ill, but he kept the race pace. He kept. I think it was Liam. He kept Sainz not a million miles away. He was looking like you could get another podium again potentially. I think absolutely amazing stuff from Kimi Antonelli when you think of the amount of pressure he had coming into the race weekend with doing all these mistakes, and it was really, really good to watch. I was so happy for Kimi, and I was so happy for this guy here, Liam Lawson. He proved the naysayers wrong. I appreciate one swallow doesn't necessarily make a summer, but he did amazing. Liam Lawson, yes, he finished 5th, but he was up there. What is it? He was up there on the second row, started at third. Amazing job on a track where everyone else, including World Championship leaders, were making mistakes. He didn't, and it was fantastic. And the man of the race, first Williams podium, Carlos Sainz, who was 2nd through a good part of the race, keeping Max somewhat honest if Max were to make a mistake. But any guy that makes James Vowles smile as much as he did is going to be a friend of ours. Absolutely well done, Carlos Sainz. You are the man of the race for us in 2025 for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. You didn't, in the race, you didn't really put a foot wrong. You did amazing qualifying where people were going off and making mistakes. You did not, and you got the absolute maximum out of that Williams. So yeah, well done, Carlos Sainz. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it to the end, this is 37 minutes nearly. That's ridiculous. I think this is the longest race review we've done for what was quite a boring race. My mouth is now going very dry, but I just want to say, if you made it to the end, that is amazing. You're as crazy as us. Give us a subscribe if you're not subscribed. Although you watching this is more than enough, and making it to the end, clearly we are not worthy here. Thank you very much. But until then, we'll speak to you soon. And above all else, stay safe.